Hey, what's up guys? Imocros here, back at you with another Weakaura video. So before we start, I want to thank you all for all the support for this channel, on the previous video, all the likes, subscribes, and the comments. It has been amazing to say the least. And special support to Hayabusa for providing me with access to the beta. So the Weakauras have been made on the beta. Without further ado, let's hop into World of Warcraft. So we are in the beta right now. This is how the Weakaura looks like, but for testing purposes, I'm going to make it bigger. This is something you can do for yourself as well. You can make it either bigger or smaller, depending on what UI you're using. The only thing you need to do is type /WA to open the Weakaura. Go to rotations, click it, or select it rather, group, and then you can select what scale you want it on. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to increase it to 1.5, just to make it bigger and visible for everyone. Well, let's start with the rotation part of the Weakaura. We have Power Word Solace, Penance, Mindblast, and Shadow Word Death. They basically all work the same in this Weakaura. If you use any of them, they go on cooldown, they become gray, and as soon as they're usable, once again, let me cast this, they get their color back. Penance gets one additional effect that's based on the passive. It's basically a proc chance. Let me find the exact name of it. It's called Power of the Dark Side. If Power of the Dark Side procs, which is not going to do right now because I'm filming this. Anyways, if Power of the Dark Side procs, your penance is gonna glow, telling you, hey, your penance is gonna do more damage or healing, based on whom you cast it on. Your Shadow Word Pain works differently than the abilities we just went through. Your Shadow Word Pain is desaturated, so it's black and white and it's glowing. It's telling you you have to cast your Shadow Word Pain right now, or you're going to be missing on damage and healing. As soon as you cast it, the glow is going to go away and it's going to be colored. The fact that it's in color means that the debuff is active on your current target. However, it might be glowing and in color. That means that you can recast it to extend the duration of Shadow Word Pain rather than replacing it. So you could cast it on this one. As soon as it goes under 30%, you will see that it will start glowing. Wait for that to happen. There it is, and if we would extend it, it goes up to 19 seconds, while the normal duration, as you can see down here, is 16 seconds. Let's see. Next one. Your atonement is a big part of your healing as a discipline priest. Therefore, it's here big in the middle, and it's showing you the amount of atonement you have within your group or party. We have a chicken right here. If I would place my Power Word Shield and therefore atonement on this big chicken, it is not gonna count towards the normal atonement. If you're in a battleground, in a dungeon, in a raid, whatever, as long as you're in the same group, anyone that gets atonement from you is going to be counted towards this total right here. So it's on myself, so it says 1. Down here you can see the duration, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, etc. And if you need a visual, 8. You can see the background basically rotating anti-clock. Yeah, that's anti-clock. So that's your atonement out here. Under your atonement we have your Mindbender and Shadow Fiend. That's self-explanatory. Should you use it, it will show up telling you the duration of your Mindbender and or Shadow Fiend. As for Schism, Schism is different than all the other abilities. The reason why, it has a buff by itself, but it also applies a debuff to the enemy. So if I would use Schism on this training dummy, you will see that it's glowing right now. It's telling me that it is active on the dummy. and you see a timer. As soon as it's done, it turns gray, and that is basically an indication of how long it's gonna take before I can cast it again. It's just the cooldown. The 2 yellow bars here, they are for your power word radiance. You have 2 charges, so if you cast the first one, you'll see that it's recharging. If you cast the second one, there we go. That one is gonna start recharging. The blue bar is your mana bar. That's self-explanatory. Next up is the cooldowns. They basically work the same as your main abilities, Penance, Power Word Solace, etc. If I would use my Pain Suppression, it's gonna turn gray, and it's gonna have a timer telling me how long it's gonna take before I can cast it again. The 2 that are, yeah, you could say most important, at least for me, most important, Rupture and Power Infusion, will also show you a timer for the duration of the buff. Because Pain Suppression you would most likely cast on a tank in a raid environment or in Mythic Plus. As for Rupture is a buff, it's active on yourself. So as soon as I activate Rupture, it's gonna show up here. So it's still 5 seconds. Another place I can see it is here, is this bar. As it depletes, Rupture is gone, and then it's gonna start recharging. So I have Rupture on basically 3 different spots. That's how important it is for me personally. When this bar recharges, it's really easy to check. This is where you're gonna be looking mainly. And you can look at it between your other buffs if you would like to. Same goes for Pain Suppression. It shows you how long it's active. This is only on yourself. You don't want to see how much haste the mage has that you got forced to give Power Infusion to because the guild master or the raid leader told you to do so. That hurts. Anyways, let's get back to the cooldowns. Another cooldown which is transformative to your playstyle is Shadow Covenant. What it does is it makes you unable to cast holy spells, but it increases the damage you deal with your shadow spells. Therefore, it's gonna eliminate your Solace if you're playing with Solace, it's gonna eliminate your Penance, and it's gonna eliminate basically all your cooldowns you see in the bottom. You see Halo right here, by the way. If you change to Divine Star, it's gonna change there as well. So you can just play with whatever talent you want. If you pick Purge the Wicked, it's gonna show you Purge the Wicked here, and you're not gonna have Halo or Divine Star down there. I usually play with Lenience. Anyways, we were talking about Shadow Covenant. As soon as you use Shadow Covenant, this is something I personally like aesthetically. You can turn it off if you want. There is a Holy Wing right here and a Shadow Wing. As soon as I use my Shadow Covenant, the abilities that are not usable will be faded away. They will still be here, but faded away. As for Power Word, Solace, and Penance, they will be hidden behind other abilities. So those two will disappear. The reason why is if you want to heal someone directly while your Shadow Covenant is active, you're going to be either using Shadow Mend or DPSing to heal that person. To replace Solace, the only ability that does not have a cooldown and is castable as a damaging ability during your Shadow Covenant is Mindseer. So if I would cast my Shadow Covenant, you will see that the Holy Wing will disappear. You will only see abilities that you can cast in your rotation right here. And here you have a countdown for how long it's going to take. As soon as it's done, those abilities will go back to the usual rotation setup. Well, that covers cooldowns, and we're going to start with the utility abilities. There we go. Basically all your utility abilities, including Shining Force, Dominant Mind, anything that you can count toward utility, as soon as you use it, it's gonna show you a small icon in the upper left side of the weak aura, showing you how long the cooldown is still there. As soon as it reaches about 2 seconds, it's gonna disappear from here. It will show up in the middle of your screen. It's still gonna be a little faded away, so it doesn't clog up your screen. If you're fighting a boss or whatever, you'll still be able to see everything. It's gonna happen within 2 seconds now. So you see it happen, it pulses a couple times, and then it disappears. Basically, it's telling you, hey, you can use your Fade once again, you can use your Leap of Fate, you can use your Fear, your Shining Force, whatever utility ability you have used and is on cooldown will show up on the last 2 seconds. And if it's more than 2 seconds, let's say I use Fear right here, it will be showing up on the upper left side of the screen in black and white. So that covers your rotation, your cooldowns, and your utility. The only thing left now is the Covenant abilities. This priest is Kyrian. So as we look at Boon of the Ascendants, it's a big cooldown. It's showing on the lower right side of the cooldowns between the abilities. It is castable through Shadow Covenant, so that's a plus for it. If I would cast it, it would give me a buff for 10 seconds. There we go. And it will show up in the left side of my screen telling me, hey, you still have 4 seconds of Boon of the... what's it called? Boon of the Ascendants. That's it. And then you have the little chicken dude you can summon. There we go. And it gives you a potion. I am not tracking this potion because it's a potion. It has nothing to do with your rotation. I will make a weak aura that tracks all the potions and take this one into consideration and add it to that weak aura particularly. So if you're playing Kyrian and you want that weak aura, just download it later on. So I think that's it. Oh, there's one more thing. If you play with Shield Discipline or Mindbender, you won't have Power Word Solace. You will have Power Word Shield showing up. The reason is, especially if you're using Shield Discipline, if it gets totally absorbed, you get some mana back. So if I would use it, it's gonna tell me what the absorb amount is on myself in this case. So I'm gonna jump to another priest with another covenant and show you the other 2 abilities. I don't have all 4 of them. So we jump to a different priest which is affiliated with the Necrolords. Necrolord provides you with 2 different abilities which are Unholy Nova and Fleshcraft. If you use Fleshcraft, it will show you an icon on the right side of your weak aura and on top of it a number telling you what the absorb amount is on the shield. So it's 4,392. If this dummy would hit me, it would take the whole shield at once. So that's that's one way to test it. The other ability is Unholy Nova. You can read what it says on this side of the screen as I hover over it. Basically, it places a debuff on the target, and every time someone deals damage to that target, they get healed for a small amount. And it deals damage over time as well. So if I would cast it, you would see that it's up there on the target, but it shows here telling me what the duration is on whichever target. So those are the 2 Necrolord abilities, and I'm gonna jump to a different priest to show you the Ventir ones. So we're now on the Cow Priest, which is affiliated with the Ventir. Here we have 2 abilities, Door of Shadows. This shows up with the cooldowns in the lower right side of your Weakaura. Once you use it, it goes gray like every other cooldown, and that's about it. Once it's almost ready, so when it has 2-second cooldown left, it's gonna show up in the middle of your screen as we have seen before in a different Weakaura. As for mind games, if you apply it to a target, it will show up on the left side, telling you what the remaining duration is of the debuff. So that's about it. I will show you the Kyrian one. I can't go back to Kyrian unless I do quite a bit of quests, so I will just do it like this. Well, the Kyrian one gives you Soul Shape and Fake Guardian. If you're in Soul Shape, it will show up on the right side of your Weakaura, basically the same as the other things we went through. And Soul Shape gives you an ability called Flicker, which you can cast once every 4 seconds if I remember correctly. But that will show up on top of your Soul Shape, but only if you're in Soul Shape. So if you are in that wolf form, you will see an icon telling you when you can use Flicker. As for Fey Guardians, it's going to be showing on the left side of your screen, as most other abilities, just like Unholy Nova, and we have seen Mind Games. So all your Covenant abilities will either be showing on the left side or the right side of the screen. If I forgot something, or if you have questions, please let me know. Comment, subscribe if you like this. Let me know what you would like to see, not next, but the one afterwards, because I promised I'm gonna do Warlocks next, Affliction Warlocks. The one afterwards is not decided yet, so if you know what you're gonna be playing in Shadowlands and you would like a Weakaura, please let me know, and I'll make sure you get it before Shadowland releases. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoy the Weakaura. See ya.